Shut up and sit down.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me as always, my co-host, Jose Romero.
Nerd Wednesday. It's rare we record on a Wednesday, but every day's a nerd day. Who are we kidding? What's going on, brother?
Listen, it doesn't matter if it's Thursday, it doesn't matter if it's Wednesday, it doesn't matter if it's Monday. It is the week in geek for us. It is what we talk about. It is what we're here for. It is here what we get excited about. And San Diego was too big. We needed to do a second one to talk about the stuff we couldn't do the first one.
Yeah, the first show we did. If you guys haven't caught it yet, caught it? Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think you said it right.
No, I haven't seen it. That's a better word.
Seen it, caught it.
Yeah, we talked about the Marvel stuff, some Marvel stuff, not everything, because it was just too much to discuss and there wasn't enough time. So we figured we saved this show to kind of take a really deep dive, particularly with the Avengers stuff, which I'm really interested in for the most part. So we're gonna give our thoughts, theories, etc., and all that.
And there's been a few updates.
There's
things
a few
to tweak up,
which are all related to Marvel for the most part. The first one is an interesting one because we kind of touched base on a little bit as far as they didn't mention anything about X-Men, which didn't surprise me. I don't know if we're going to see X-Men as part of Phase 6, which will be the only real spot open, couple of spots available that I haven't really disclosed yet. I don't know if we're going to get there before. I'm thinking X-Men's coming afterwards. But that being said... go ahead.
We talked a little bit about where we believe if we're going to get mutants. And I think the closest we'll get to X-Men is Deadpool. I think Deadpool will be in Phase 6.
That might be one of the ones we get announced in D23.
Yeah.
I got it.
And did you hear about the rumor as to why we won't be getting it? You heard about that one?
For the X-Men?
Yeah, for X-Men in general.
That's exactly what leads me into it. And so basically there's a story that came out where I guess due to contractual obligations or whatever, wording, et cetera, those who were cast in the Fox version, the contracts, and it's kind of weird because usually contracts aren't written this way. Usually it's written where the studios can choose to use you for how many films it's agreed upon, or they can just not use you and replace you, right? The actor has to comply. If they're going to use you, you have to.
Right.
No. In this case, I guess what the word is that I guess the actors, is something in the contracts where they can't even make an X-Men film without them, right?
Well, what I heard was, I think you're kind of right. What I heard was, studios can recast if they can't agree on the contract, or they're like quote unquote the morality clause. Like if you start getting you're pulling Ezra Miller,
like that. Of course,
right? They can drop you out of. But if you're available, you have to use them if you make a movie within that time frame.
Well, usually the contracts aren't written like that. This one appears it may have been written like that.
I think that's what that's what made Fox them want to sign up for Fox movies in the first place. Is well, if I'm available, they're gonna have to use me.
Right. So there could be something. Yeah, and I think it expires in 2025.
2025. Yeah.
So basically, it's assumed they're gonna start filming it. The earliest they'll start filming is 2025. I'm not sure when exactly the contract would expire in terms of the date, beginning, and I don't know. So realistically speaking, we probably won't see a movie to 2027. Will be the earliest. It takes about 2 years. With all that. Right. So it's going to be a while, which pushes it out beyond Phase 6, which is what I guess what top.
Right. It's definitely going to be Phase 7.
Right. If this is true,
it's definitely going to be Phase. It's going to be Phase 7. They can announce they're working on
right.
The project.
They can announce the date or the cast or director, which I'm sure we'll get that news. But sorry, seeing it on the big screen, it's going to be a while. I mean, looking at least 5 years? It's a long time.
Well, no, it's about 5 years. Listen, but Netflix was 2 years, and we, luckily we had a pandemic that helped it go by real fast.
No, exactly. So, but it just seems like because we haven't technically, it would be 10 years. Once that movie comes out, if it's obviously true and all that, 2027 would be 10 years since when they actually purchased Fox. That's a big gap between having an X-Men film. We were used to getting so many, some good, some bad. So that's a pretty long time, but whatever. It is what it is, and I'd be surprised if this is true. We're gonna get an announcement D23 about this at this point.
I think so.
If they announced something, then this was not entirely true. It's not really fully confirmed, to be fair.
I think I said because they're gonna keep people as originally cast. Deadpool is automatically shoots to the top because
Deadpool
Ryan Reynolds.
We're gonna get Deadpool. I mean, nobody talked about that.
And I think I think they're going to reveal that Namor in Black Panther 2, obviously he's going to be a mutant. You have Miss Marvel, who's now a mutant. You have Deadpool. So I think they're going to start to populate mutants in the Marvel universe, but we won't get a live action act. But that being said, and this will lead into when we talked about the two big reveals of Marvel for the end of Phase 6, which would be Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that they're going to bring back tons of original X-Men actors just to murder them in that movie. It's going to be
don't know, because again, with the contracts in 2025, that technically speaking won't be on the contract by then. So,
well, I think they will, because it'll come out.
It'll come out.
They'll film it 2024, so they're under contract.
It just depends.
So,
I mean, I don't think they go that route, to be honest.
I think they will. I think they not everyone, but I think you're going to get a Hugh Jackman. I think you're going to get a Halle Berry. I think you're going to get a Michael Fassbender. I think you're going to get one of the Mystiques. They'll pull in one of the Mystiques.
Well, it's not Jennifer Lawrence. I can guarantee you that, because she didn't want to do
well,
that.
Then they'll bring
she had checked out after the first one. That's
well, you know what? You're right. She checked out of
she checked out
Fox,
that series.
But if she gets to do a Marvel done in one,
she doesn't like the character. She's already talked about she hated the makeup, all that stuff. She does not want to do it.
Listen,
I get
remember, even Paul Bentley. Even Paul Bentley was like, they used to have to paint me all up. Yeah, now they just do like dots.
Bentley needs to eat.
So
Jennifer Lawrence got plenty of food last her for the rest of her life. It's a two different level of actors. Let's be clear about that.
Here's what I'm saying.
She's A-list. Bentley, if he's lucky, if he's before
he's
Marvel,
B-list if he's lucky. He's B-list if he's lucky.
No, he's C-list after Marvel. Before Marvel, he's probably like an F-list. Let's be honest. I like the guy, but let's be clear. No one knew him because of Vision. People know Lawrence before and after her Marvel run.
Hey, I happen to have liked Paul Bentley all the way from
I like a lot of guys too, but that doesn't make him A-listers.
Fair.
I mean, fair. But that being said, I mean, we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get a handful of like signature actors who are to come in, and they're gonna murder them all in Secret Wars, and then afterwards you'll get the casting of like their reincarnated, rebooted selves. Just like I think that Secret Wars will be rebooting Iron Man. It'll probably reboot Cap. I think there's gonna be a bunch of rebooted characters.
Oh, I don't know about Cap
as well,
but we'll get into it. We'll get into that a little bit specifically. The other bit of news that dropped in relation to what we'll discuss very shortly is it's funny because Chewie, who joined us in the last show, did mention that about the Russo brothers and Feige saying that we're not going to be involved, and I guess thus far it's half true, because they announced a director for the Kang Dynasty Avengers film, which is Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi. Good choice. We like Shang-Chi. Third act notwithstanding, whatever, still a good movie.
But that's a story issue, not a director issue. Like, he made it work for what it was, but it was what it was.
Right, it is, but he did a good job anyway. Looked great, so good choice. I'm for that. He's done his big budget film, so we know he can handle that kind of budget and scale and scope and all that. So that's interesting. And I'm curious to know that, which I think is going to really show the difference in tone between these two films, because usually you want to keep the same director, right? I like the Russo brothers, right? Because I would assume these two movies are going to be one, obviously would be contingent what happens in the first one. So the tone, to have a tone shift like that is okay, interesting. Unless maybe they say, do both movies. I don't know. That's a lot to do, because these movies are going to be big. For him to do both movies by himself, that's a huge undertaking, man. That's a lot.
I have a theory about this. Mm-hmm. Okay. Since the last Avengers movie that will be capping off Phase 6 will be Secret Wars. And I talked about this run a bazillion times, but Marvel keeps pulling stuff out of this guy's run, so I have to talk about it. Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, the whole incursion, multiverse, that's all Hickman. Hickman did all that work. He created the whole thing. Going back when he was writing Fantastic Four, paid off in Avengers, led the record of Secret Wars, and it's like a soft reboot of Marvel. It was like a DC reboot where they changed everything. It was like they just shined a couple of things off, dusted some stuff that they didn't want to use in a character, but essentially the same, and they went forward there. One of the story arcs within Avengers that led to Secret Wars was called Time Runs Out, where it basically has Cap jumping a year, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 100,000 years, and he just keeps spinning through time, falling for a little bit, and then getting juked again, seeing what was going to happen to the multiverse and realizing there was nothing good to stop it, but he needed to let it happen because there's a plan. And I started thinking Kang Dynasty, Kang does with time. So I could totally see where Kang is taking over the world, and then you get these Avengers being juked through time, and then another group of Avengers who are working outside of time, trying to not only find the Avengers that are being shot through the time streams, getting together to assault Kang. So it's gonna be a three-pronged thing. It's gonna be like a group of Avengers are being shot through time, another group of Avengers are trying to capture those Avengers or rescue those Avengers, and a third group of Avengers are going to be finding a way to take the fight towards Kang once they recoup the Avengers lost in time. And then because during that, remember, before Kang Dynasty, Fantastic Four, which is going to be important because, as rumors say, Doctor Doom is supposed to show up at the end of Black Panther. So I think Doctor Doom is going to join the heroes and say, Kang's screwing things up. I'm going to help you stop him. And when they finally stop Kang, as Doctor Doom is prone to do in every version of Secret Wars, he takes the powers of the multiverse and then rebuilds reality to his whim. So because of that, we can see movies like Deadpool where, time and continuity doesn't really make sense. And you can play around with a bunch of kind of movies like that. So when you get to Secret Wars, Doom has now rebuilt the world in his image and his idea. And it's up to the Avengers and the Fantastic Four to escape and set the world right and reboot the multiverse into a cohesive universe with multiverses out there, but without it smashing into everything and destroying everything. I thought about this for a long time. I think that's what's going to happen. It makes a lot of sense, especially when time runs out, it leads right into Kang. But with Doom being introduced, it's the perfect way to take from one to the other and still make it Secret Wars, which is Doom took the power and now you got to fight Doom for it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that Doctor Doom rumor is actually true. We'll know that in a few months.
Right.
Because if he doesn't show up then, we're not going to see him to
you're right.
Fantastic Four. And let's see what they do with him at that point. I mean, yeah, if he doesn't, because usually Marvel is one and done with the villains for the most part, right? The majority of the time it's one and done. So if he survives Fantastic Four, okay, we know what's going to happen. If he goes out, okay, that's interesting.
I would not be surprised if what they did was the Fantastic Four got their powers in two ways in comic books. It was a spaceship going in space and they got bombarded with cosmic rays, or they created a teleportation system that took them through the negative zone, and when they came out, the negative zone energies affected them, and they became the Fantastic Four, loosely based off elemental forces. Reed Richards is stretchy because he's like water, Ben Grimm is earth, Human Torch is fire, and Sue Storm is air, sense, invisibility. So I'm thinking, what if in the Marvel Fantastic Four, they get their powers because they thought they were doing a teleportation, but they went through a multiverse. And because of that, that's what gave them the powers. So it connects to the multiverse issues. It connects to Kang. It connects to time. And that's your way in to connect the Fantastic Four to go up against Kang and eventually Doom as well. I thought that might be a kind of interesting way to go about it, which is teleportation. But instead of one space towards another, it went through a multiverse, and that's what affected them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'm trying to see how they're going to set this up. Because I'm looking at the lineup, right? And I can put up now as far as what's coming out for Phase 5. Because, 6 is basically just 3 movies that are announced thus far.
Right, but there's like 8 slots left open, right?
There's like 2 movie slots and 2 or 3 at best. And then the rest probably be some TV shows. I don't see TV shows really affecting the bigger picture for the most part. I don't think so. But it's possible. But I'm kind of curious what those movies are going to be. We'll talk about that in a second. But this lineup here, because I'm looking at it now. And first of all, I don't know why you guys thought anything was surprising. I was looking at the lineup, and there's nothing that we didn't know was coming out. I know you guys were like, "Oh my god!"
Not for Phase 4, but Phase 5 was some
Phase 5,
some good.
But I'll put it this way, right? And stop me when you didn't know this was coming out.
Right.
Ant-Man, Secret Invasion, Guardians, Echo, Loki, The Marvels, Blade, Ironheart, Agatha.
Wait, time. Loki? We didn't know when it was going to come out.
We knew it was in production. But I'm saying, it only said summer, but we knew it's coming. I mean, it's different to say X-Men, where we kind of know it's coming, but we have no idea. Loki was announced. But they were all announced.
Also, Deadpool, Daredevil was a surprise. I didn't think they were to come that in the same year that Echo comes out. Daredevil was going to come out too.
It's coming out a year later.
No, that's Phase 5.
Right, but so Echo's Phase 5.
Right, that's what I'm,
Right,
that's what
Echo
I'm saying.
2023, Daredevil would still phase 5 2020, but we knew it was coming. They already said it. It's not surprised.
It was just surprising. It is like within that same phase. I thought they were going to skip a beat, and then the next phase was going to be Daredevil. So it came earlier than expected in phases. That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough, but we knew it was coming. Blade, Ironheart,
Right.
Agatha, Captain America.
Blade, we didn't know when. I actually thought it was going to come out.
When. I mean, listen, if you guys get excited over a date, then you guys got some serious problems. We get excited about the movies that get announced, right? All these things, everything I mentioned has been announced at some point before in the past,
or speculated. Like Thunderbolts announced, what we didn't know.
But it was announced. It was official. They got a director. We knew that. Captain America 4 before Comic-Con, we knew how to direct. We knew it was coming. Agatha, they said it last year was coming out. Blade, we knew it was coming out. Obviously, Mahershala Ali. I'm saying that right.
Mahershala Ali.
He was already announced. The Marvels, they announced it. They don't know it's Marvel, but we knew that before then. Anyway, Loki, we knew. Guardians, there's not one surprise in there. So I don't understand why you guys like acting like Marvel announced all. They did nothing but announce 2 Avengers films.
Before they just announced things, and now they announced a time frame. And here's the reason why: is a lot of Marvel heads were like, we don't know when's it gonna come out. We feel like, I've heard that this term, it's like it's rudderless, like so long.
It has been rudderless, and I'm looking at the lineup, right? Let's assume Quantumania, I could see that and tie into the big picture.
Oh, totally.
Secret Invasion is a prequel. Who gives a fuck? Let's just be honest. Echo, okay. Guardians, it's its own thing, and it's the last Guardians we're going to see, according to James Gunn. Next,
I think it might have a little connection, only because of like their high-end sci-fi.
Zero connection to it, much like with Thor was. Nothing. I promise you that. Loki, there you go. That's 2 things. Blade, not a thing. Marvels, maybe, potentially, maybe. Ironheart, very doubtful.
Very doubtful.
That should never exist to begin with. So I know it's going to do
maybe.
Nothing.
That's a maybe. That's a maybe because it's connected to Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch connects to Doctor Strange. There's a maybe. There's a maybe there.
No, Daredevil, not a chance in hell.
Not a chance.
Captain America, perhaps. I don't know.
I don't see that.
I don't know.
No, I don't see that.
It's weird. And then Thunderbolt. I see. Maybe. I don't know.
I see Captain America connecting more to Secret Invasion than the multiverse saga. Honestly,
right. I agree. So. Okay, which is weird. And Thunderbolts, I don't know.
I say Thunderbolts, yes.
I guess it depends. It depends what they do with it. I'll say that's a maybe. I'll give you a maybe on next. I don't know how they're going to approach the Thunderbolts, right? In this version of them.
The Thunderbolts is going to be the substitute for the Avengers of that phase. That's what it is.
It depends. You keep hearing it. Suicide Squad thing. I think it'll be tied in more to Captain America. I'm not saying something like it. It's going to be more tied into a Captain America than anything else, I think. Which is
I think it'll be a little bit cap. I think it's gonna be a little bit capped.
Right.
It's gonna be, but I think it's gonna connect to it's gonna be one of the things where you don't realize it until the third act. Like, oh, this actually connects to the multiverse as well, and it's gonna be this kind of situation where that's when they realize they're in too deep.
Maybe I don't know, because then after that, Fantastic Four, then whatever.
Fantastic Four totally connects to the multiverse.
Right. You know, and then. And that's it. We got two the Avengers films, so they got maybe 2 more slated in there they could release.
Deadpool obviously could connect to the multiverse as well. So
it depends how they approach it. That could be its own thing too. I don't know. That's a maybe. The other movie, I have no idea. If there's no Spider-Man, maybe.
I don't think it's Spider-Man.
I don't think so either. I don't think it's even going to be in the Avengers, to be honest with you, at this point. I don't know.
I think he is, because he still has one Marvel movie.
Right, which is what I'm thinking. I don't know if they're going to make another.
It's going to be Secret Wars. It's going to be Secret Wars. He's not going to be in Kang Dynasty. He's going to be in Secret Wars.
But I'm kind of curious how.
Not potential. Like, because he's got that one contract, Feige's keeping that in his back pocket. Like, how do you make a movie go from good to great? Tom Holland Spider-Man, because it's money in the bank.
Oh, it's money in the bank, no doubt about that. That's Sony allows it. They don't have to allow him to make that film if they don't want to. They really don't. It's up.
But it's per contract. They said you have to do one movie as a team movie. Avengers.
They don't have to. There could be another film. That's really up to Sony. And I've heard stuff about that already from before. Inside sources saying they might even allow that to happen. It's their character. They can do what they want. Just like with the contracts with the X-Men, right? We can use you if we want to. Marvel doesn't have any say on it. They just don't. It's fact. It's contract. Nothing you can do about that. So I don't know if that's going to happen. And I've heard rumors that may not happen at all, potentially. But that being said, nothing. I mean, it's just weird. Like, I don't know. And it goes back to conversation we had about them not really replacing the heart and soul of the Avengers team. It's just because because it's so much, and I hate to say this because it's good and a bad thing. They're releasing way too much shit. Not everything connects, and we don't get to see enough of these characters before the big payoff, right? We got Shang-Chi released in 2022, 21, right? 2021.
21.
We may not see him again in 2025, 26. That's a long time, and then he pops in, and oh, here he is, and does that work? I don't know. Eternals, I doubt we're gonna see anything of them. Maybe, I don't know.
I think you might see them
Maybe,
in
potentially,
maybe in Kang Dynasty, maybe
right.
Secret Wars. It'll be one of those two.
Potentially, but again,
and it may not even be the
right.
full
But then again,
cast.
that's
maybe
that's
a couple
still
people.
5 years and introducing all these characters. We don't have time to really spend time because with the first original cast, which is what we all loved it, right? We got to see a couple of movies that built up the Avengers, and they kept showing Avengers 2, and there was a build up to now to Infinity Wars, and we had a full arc of Tony Stark, right? He was the heart of the whole series, and him dying made sense because he started the same way and died the same way with the snapping his fingers. I am Iron Man, right?
Right.
But he had a whole arc through there, right? As a Captain America, and we're not gonna get any of that here because there's just no room for it. Because we might see Captain Marvel one more time, and she sucks in, and nobody cares about her. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's be honest. Thor, okay, we saw him. We're not gonna see him again until that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, it's like watching a TV show with the boys, and they're showing Butcher for one episode, and he comes back episode 7. Well, what happened in the middle, right? And that's right. And they keep popping all these other characters in, and it's hard to do something.
It's funny you say that because I've heard other people talk about the fact that the Infinity Saga took 10 years to tell.
But it had the same core characters throughout all these.
Has 10 years, right. Same. But
and there was more time to tell that story. It was
right 10 years. It was 10 years. The multiverse, if you talk about like actual produced shows, it's 4 years. That's a really fast track
that's what
for
I'm
a whole saga.
It's really quick, and we're giving us Loki a little bit, and then we got Doctor Strange was multiverse. I debate that all day long. Because they gave me like a 5-second reel of different worlds doesn't make it multiverse. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what?
But
speaking of Doctor Strange, and like seeing characters like, oh, well, we're only gonna get. I was thinking about this as well. You know how right before San Diego, we were talking about Marvel locked in a bunch of LLCs, which is what they usually do before they produce a movie, and we had stuff like Kang Dynasty and Secret War. And obviously, it became. Some of the other stuff they talked about was Shang-Chi and the something of time, like the War Against Time or something like that, and they also said Midnight Suns. So because Shang-Chi's got that tech, which could be either Kree or it could be Atlantean, and maybe which connects to Namor, and maybe that's the reason why they never saw technology like this is because the Atlanteans, who they also have, some of them have blue skin like the Kree. Maybe the Atlanteans.
I mean, that's already been established in terms of.
I know,
I know what you're saying, but whatever there are.
Of Atlanteans.
Agreed. I'm just saying,
it could be like that. Could be like the ancient tech that Krees had. That's why they're blue skins, and that's why they have a. So what I'm trying to say is that you could have a Shang-Chi 2, and you could have Midnight Suns, which is the mystical team of superheroes that brings in Blade, Doctor Strange, and Moon Knight. So you get to be refamiliarized with these cats before you hit Kang Dynasty. So you will have at least maybe 2 to 3 movies of these guys.
But they haven't announced anything. There's no space for all that.
D23, I'm thinking.
No, but I'm saying, but there's no space, and they can say, well, we're doing 50 movies. They got 2 slots in 2026 that are open. Unless they're releasing 8 films in 1 year, that's not going to happen.
No, but you do a Deadpool and you do a Midnight Suns, and that's already the 2 movies made for the multiverse.
Is he in? And I get what you're saying, but it's like we haven't seen it, we haven't heard it, and it's cool. I'm just saying that from a storytelling perspective, it's nice to spend more time with the characters than we have, particularly if they're going to be major players in Kang, which we assume they will be. It's nice to see them, and there's no leadership. We don't know. It's odd, right? And there's no time to develop that one guy or 2 guys there or whoever. Or maybe it's Captain Marvel. That'll be a very bad decision, but fine. Let's assume it's her. It's just we haven't got enough. And I'm not, listen. Maybe this is going to be fantastic, but I just don't think they're going to equal what they did before. I just don't, because I don't think they're not set up to do that, which is kind of a shame. It's still going to be cool shit, though. It really sucks
when real life gets in the way, because I know after Endgame, all of us were like, oh man, Doctor Strange and Black Panther, they're the co-lead Avengers. It's gonna be
That
awesome.
I agree. The Black Panther thing I thought would be a perfect choice, and that's
Oh,
not
it would have
Marvel's
been
fault. I get it.
perfect.
Look, it's not Marvel's fault. It is what it is. But listen, you gotta adapt and let's set someone else up instead of Black Panther for obvious reasons. But they haven't done that. I'm not saying it's no fault. It is what it is. But I'm saying it's missing that. We're missing that. Which is why when I say rudderless with the MCU, it's just for me it more means that. Right? What are we setting up for these Avengers and characters, right? They're giving us so many characters. We got Moon Knight and Miss Marvel and Loki and the whole time variant thing is in play and all this stuff's being Shang-Chi is new, Eternals is new, all this being thrown and it's like okay, let us breathe with these guys and the next time we see them all together it's like and it won't have the same effect for me. It just won't feel like it's been earned, right? And you're right, 4 years is not a long time for this kind of phase, right? This isn't
No,
Avengers 1 with just to stay
right.
together, right? This is their Infinity War Endgame version of this phase, right? You got to build
Yeah,
to that, which is why the ending was so great because it's satisfying. It stuck the landing out of 10 years of built stories and it works. So I'm really
absolutely.
worried about that. I think it's going to look cool shit when he's some great, oh my God, but it concerns me. But again, let's see what they do because, I mean, again, we'll see what D23, what they announce. I think we're going to get Fantastic Four. We talked about that. They're going to get cast. We're going to hear something about that at director. I'd be
Oh yeah,
shocked if we don't hear it,
absolutely,
but I just
absolutely.
don't see how we don't. They're going to bring out Deadpool. I think Deadpool comes out then. I thought it was going to come out in Comic Con.
Me, that's
Right.
what
So I don't
I
see
thought so
how he
too.
does not show up T23. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. And I'm sure they're going to fill in those gaps with those movies that I think they're saving those. Maybe one is X-Men. I don't know. I
Yeah,
find it weird that it is, but maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't see it being because of that new
Right, but again, that's not
contract
fully
rule.
confirmed. It's possible, but I'm saying maybe. I mean, what
Right.
else could there be? Like what? I mean, what else could like Shang-Chi 2 won't drive that kind of excitement? I don't think. Right? Oh my God! I mean, it'd be
Well, I
cool, but I'm
mean, it
saying,
did. It because
is he
Shang-Chi
worth
did
saving
well, and
for
Simi Luz
D23?
is really charismatic.
I
He's
see like
really
a Spider-Man
charismatic.
being more
So,
like, oh
like, here's
yeah,
the thing:
announcing a Spider-Man would be really cool.
could be a
Potential, okay,
Spider-Man
for
too.
whatever.
Sure, but I don't
I
know
don't
if they're
know
gonna
either, but
do that or not. Like, here's the thing: if you're talking charisma, like people we like to see on screen, I think the people that Marvel has right now that they want to lean on is you want to lean on Oscar Isaac,
do you
you
think
want
it's
to lean on
do
Tom
you think it's
Holland,
gonna be
you
Avengers
want
level?
to
I don't
lean
think he's gonna
on
show up at
on.
all. Oh, I think
I
he's
think he
like
is.
he might as well be, and he's better than Agatha, but he'll be lumped in with Agatha, Echo, and Daredevil. I don't think he's that level, man. To be honest with you, I don't think we see him. I don't think we
I
see
think
him.
he is. I think he's on that level. He's
Look,
Moon Knight
Moon Knight's
is
cool, and I
above
like the character a lot. It's just,
Moon Knight. Listen, if you're gonna have Hawkeye and Black Widow,
oh,
you can
listen,
have a Moon Knight.
in terms
That's
of
just.
what Moon can do a lot more than what these two idiots could do. There's no doubt about it, right? There's no question, but it's a little bit different because they were introduced very early on, and they were just part of the part of the characters that we grew, right? It really was. They developed those guys, right?
I think Oscar Isaac is a movie
Oh,
actor. He
of
prefers to do movies. He
course,
did
no
this as
doubt.
like an intro, and
If
so I think
if they announce
you're
a
gonna get
Moon
him in an
Knight
Avengers
movie,
movie.
then I'm with you.
If
If not, I do not. I don't think he's got
I,
zero
I think I
chance.
think they I don't think they're gonna do Moon Knight. I think they're gonna do a Midnight Suns movie, and
If they
then
announce,
that'll
actually, if
carry
they
over
announce
into the
something like
Avengers.
that, sure. But I'm saying if they don't get no Midnight Suns or Moon Knight 2 or whatever, I don't think we're gonna see him at all.
Yeah,
At all. At all.
yeah. I'm hoping. I like. I'll be very. I'm jealous. I'm not
I know
jealous.
you want
I'm
your Moon
greedy.
Knight.
I'm
I
greedy
get it.
about it.
Hey
I
man,
want I want a Moon Knight
I
movie or I want
understand.
a
I get
Midnight
it.
Suns movie because Doctor
Yeah.
Strange is there. Blade just came out. Moon Knight's already been introduced, so you don't need to
Sure.
give a movie, but he could be in a movie that it makes perfect sense. I'm no Kevin Feige, obviously, but to me, I'm like, you got the guy there. You need somebody who's like somewhere between Black Widow and Black Panther,
I
and
guess
Moon
the
Knight
only,
is the
I mean,
dude.
yeah, I guess
And just it,
you mentioned the point about the what characters could they bring, who they're gonna lean on. I think Shang-Chi is one of them.
Shang-Chi, I think
Doctor
you can lean
Strange,
on Doctor
I don't
Strange.
know
You
Tom
can lean on
Holland.
Tom Holland.
You can, but again, if he pops up,
And you can lean on Chris Hemsworth. You can lean on Chris
I
Hemsworth.
just
That
think we're
dude is
gonna see
solid.
him though. Like between now and Avengers, I'm saying who we're leaning on to really build this team, right? There's got to be someone there. It just be almost like fan service. Hey, here's Thor. Here's this guy. Great, but okay, whatever. There's got to be something grounding bringing these characters together. It's not Thor's not the leader. We talked about it. He's not. Right, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
right?
he's definitely not the leader. No,
Shang-Chi,
definitely
I
not.
love Shang-Chi. I don't see him either. It's too soon for him to be a leader. Black Panther would have been a great choice.
I, I'm just talking
Captain
about
Marvel is
if
the
you
only one I
like
could
the
see,
only person.
unfortunately.
And Doctor Strange, I think
Maybe
Doctor Strange could be a leader too.
know.
I think Doctor Strange
I
could
don't
do
know.
the leader.
I don't know. Maybe it's not. And it's not Tom Holland. We know that
Oh,
it's not.
dude,
I don't forget somebody.
we're forgetting Anthony Mackie, Captain America.
Maybe. I need to see more.
Captain
Let's see what
America
happens in this
is
movie.
where it's at.
That could be very well the case. I'll give you that. Let's see what happens in this film. But see, that's the only one that he's gotten. That's okay. Finally, we're getting. He got a show now. He's getting a film. Okay, now he's involved. Although again, I don't think his movie has anything long term with Kang and all that stuff. But
if you want someone who's gonna like inspire,
you know what?
look,
That's a good
if you
point.
need somebody who's gonna inspire and lead, I always say episode 6 of Falcon Winter Soldier. That speech he gives at the end.
With you,
that's a great Captain America speech.
That's a very good point. He could be the one. Let's see what happens in that movie though, right? Where's this going with him? I don't know. That directed choice is really questionable, but whatever. It is what it is.
Put it this way. Put it this way. I would love to see a scene where Moon Knight is gliding through the sky, come against to Captain America, who's flying on his jetpack, and he lands down. And Captain Anthony Mackie automatically said fighting stance. He goes, I don't know who you are, but usually when someone's dressed in white, it doesn't work out for a black dude. And then they start fighting. I'm like, that's it. I want that.
I want fantasy like that. I like it though. But it'd be curious to see what Marvel decides to do. I mean, and like I said, this based on the lineup. I mean, I guess like I said, some stuff you can throw. Like I said, Echo. Come on, this whatever, right?
And by the way, another thing too. Connecting to the Thunderbolts in comic books, specifically the Avengers, Ronan was originally introduced, and it turned out to be Echo in the comics. So I think because there's a Thunderbolts movie after the Echo series, I could see her assuming the Ronan mantle, which is something she does because of Hawkeye. She takes it and she's like, I'm going to turn this into something that better than this. And she joins the Thunderbolts as Ronan.
For you anyway, Thunderbolts is just like ground level, like something like Ronan or Echo, whatever. That kind of street level stuff. Is that like
it wouldn't be a bummer, but it could be more. You know, it's unfortunately if it was just a ground level thing, which could be great. I would have to describe the movie the way most of my elementary school teachers have described me. There's a lot of potential, but they didn't apply themselves.
Because I mean,
that's.
I know. I assume Elaine will be back reprising her. She'll be the,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She'll be Nick Fury, that group or whatever you want to call him. I got what's Kurt Russell's son, the whatever. I forgot what's his name. God, I forgot. U.S. agent.
U.S. agent,
all ground level kind of people. That's how I look at it.
And by the way, no. I was thinking about this too. Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about, because you said let's have a deeper discussion about the Avengers and what's going to Phase 6. This is what I think the Thunderbolts should be. Mind you, completely
this is just
nothing. Obviously, don't know anything, but
so
it would be U.S. agent. It would be U.S. agent. It would be the Abomination. Mordo.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, which we haven't seen.
White Vision.
Again, we haven't seen White Vision.
White Vision. Echo as Ronan. Black Widow with the Yelena Black Widow.
Correct, yeah.
Yelena Black Widow and Ghost.
From Ant-Man and what?
From Ant-Man 2.
To be honest with you.
Ant-Man the Wasp.
No, I know, but
she didn't know who phases, so they can't hit her.
Did they? Oh, okay.
They cured her at the end. Remember?
Ryan
gave her the. Yeah, and that would be my team, because you get super strength. You have a super soldier. You'd have magic, and you would have. And because of that, you can do something like ground level, or it could be bigger than it is. And but Mordo is your access point to the multiverse. But Abomination is your buffer for like big action sequence.
It's curious.
And then everyone else is practical. And Vision gives you sort of like that high tech aspect as well.
So it goes back to what I'm saying. There's so many characters. You just forget about Vision, and he pops in like, who's this? You know what I'm saying? Just even more. It's like, okay, we saw him in Doctor Strange like in 2018 for Christ's sakes. Like, where are these guys? I know he was in the multiverse, but that wasn't really him. That version of him.
If you don't do Mordo, Agatha Harkness can be slotted in, no
You're
problem.
kidding with that.
But that's what I would
I'm
do.
just curious, but let's
saying it works.
Let's talk about this Kang. Let's get more specifics here, because for me, so obviously we know Kang's coming out in Quantumania, right? I assume this is going to be the Kang,
right?
We're gonna see from moving forward, right?
It's gonna be our first version of like Kang the Conqueror, but also not the prime Kang the Conqueror, because there are many Kang the Conquerors from different points of the timeline. That's how we'll
stick with one. This is Marvel. Marvel usually takes.
I think they're gonna go.
But they kind of do their own thing and keep it a little more simple.
I think they're gonna introduce a Kang the Conqueror, and then that Kang the Conqueror is gonna die, and they're like, oh my god, who? That's gonna be like a Deus Ex Machina, like who killed Kang the Conqueror? And when they turn around and find out it's another Kang the Conqueror, it's like, that was wrong. I'm the true Kang the Conqueror. And you're like, and it was like, what the like, it's gonna be one of those, and it's gonna introduce the idea like there are many Kangs through many time streams, each one killing the other one, trying to take over time.
You see him in Quantumania, right? Obviously,
you see him in Quantumania, but it's not going to be the prime Kang.
The beginning, right? The setup for, because that's really the first thing is really going to set up this Avengers, right? It has to be. That's the only one. What else is there?
And let me just clarify this last thing too. If you're a fan of Rick and Morty, the Council of Ricks was ripped off because it was inspired by the Council of Reed Richards, which was a variation of the Council of Kangs that was created in the 80s. Side note, Kang is supposed to be the great grandson of Reed Richards. It all connects. So yeah, there is a Council of Kangs.
We see him then when I'm going to a list of movies coming out, right? Secret Invasion is not part of that, not part of Guardians, not part of Echo, not part of the Marvels. Well, maybe I don't think it'll be part of the Marvels. I don't think so. The only thing that's coming up will be Loki, which obviously I would assume that's going to be the one that continues to sell. Because after that, Blade, Ironheart, Daredevil, none of the Captain America, none of those. Absolutely. So really, it's Loki and Quantumania before Fantastic Four. So there's really only 3 films. So I assume those are the 3 that could. I mean, I just don't see him popping up in Agatha and I just don't see it. In fact,
like I said, Agatha might have a little bit to do with it, and I feel like Thunderbolts might have the potential as well. But it can go both ways. It is a bisexual movie. It can go both ways. It can go ground level. It can go multiverse.
So obviously the whole thing with time. So he's going to be the big baddie, right? And obviously the Avengers will fighting through time or quantum realm or whatever they decide to do, et cetera, right? That's what this movie is going to be about, essentially. So he goes down this film. Obviously, well, not when I say obviously, because does he have anything to do directly with Secret Wars? I don't think so, right?
No, it's always Doom. Doom is always the main guy for Secret Wars.
Keep him for Secret Wars?
As I said, I think that they're gonna try to make it look like that. But the big twist at the end of Kang Dynasty is that Doom takes all of Kang's powers and creates his own perfect timeline world, which is what Secret Wars is going to be.
There's no time between to let that breathe. It's weird.
There's going to be like 7 months.
There's only one movie in between. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not. Yeah, I know that. Releasing back to back, but not in that way. But still. So Doom.
Well, I mean, listen. If they're going to do a movie in between, the best movies to do in between would be Deadpool. Deadpool will be the perfect movie to do in between.
We'll know soon enough in September, 2023. So then. Let's assume that's the case. Dr. Doom takes over, takes the mantle, whatever. Because Secret Wars is basic. There's been a couple of versions for the most part, but it's kind of like
there's been 3, but only 2 that are.
And they go off world, right? They're somewhere. Planet. What's the?
Well, there's always what they refer to as a battle world, and the battle world is formed of and the first Secret Wars. It's the Beyonder that creates a battle world to have the heroes and villains fight out for like the grand prize of like cosmic power awareness, blah 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 blah. In the second Secret Wars, the multiverse is falling apart, and Doom has killed all the Beyonders and taken their energy along with the Molecule Man's energy, and he reforms a battle world made out of the fragments of realities he could get together. He could take as the multiverse was collapsing in on itself. So it's a bunch of different multiverses put together into one planet called Battle World. And he's referred to as God King Doom, and he's awesome. And there's a whole thing where he fights Thanos and he rips Thanos' spine out of his mouth and destroys the rest of his body. Like, it's beautiful. Insep Ribic draws it, and that guy knows how to do battle scenes. There's this amazing scene where I know we're not going to get it, so I'm going to tell you. In the comics, at the time of the storyline, Shuri had become the Black Panther, and Black Panther had become the king of the dead. He was the king of this underground city in Wakanda called the Necropolis, where all the ghosts of all the Black Panthers before him resided, and he would preside over them and ask for counsel and guidance, and that was a pretty cool storyline. And then when they were fighting Doom, it's Black Panther wearing the Infinity Gauntlet, breaking through Doom's defenses, and he has the entire Marvel zombies as an army because he's the king of the dead, leading them towards Doom, and it's awesome. And Doom and him are fighting, and he's using the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's God King Doom, so he's like just breaking through the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's about to kill T'Challa. He's like, "Did you really think you could kill me with an Infinity Gauntlet?" And T'Challa's all beat up, and he's smiling. He goes, "No, I was just a distraction." I was like, "Oh my god, this is great." So I hope there's something like that, but part of me, my heart breaks sometimes because I'm like, that would have been beautiful to see Chadwick Boseman do that, and I'm never gonna get that now. But that would have been great, but that's how crazy Secret Wars gets. So I don't know if it's gonna be like Doom's battle world, or maybe Doom has created like a one true timeline,
like just different versions of themselves fighting, like when in Battle World.
What do you
mean? Battle World, like.
Battle World, no, it's all
no,
one.
But don't the Avengers fight the villains or the fight the versions of themselves? Am I wrong in that?
They're fighting. Well, Doom has taken pieces of everyone and said, "You're now the prime you, but all of you believe I'm God." So, like in Battle World, he has an army of Thors from across the multiverse called the Thor Corps, and they're like his army police force. And each one of them is a different Thor from a different timeline. Each one's got a hammer. So you see, like Storm for the X-Men, she's a Thor because that happened in the storyline one time. You see Frog Thor. You see a Thor from like 2099. Like they're all these different Thors from, and it's just great. It's awesome. So I think they could totally pull that off. But I'm sure you're gonna see Jane Foster come back as Thor in that as well. If they do a Thor Corps as well, you're gonna see that. So like, there's a lot of stuff that you're gonna see. That is totally plausible and doable. So I hope we don't lose that.
Interesting. What that looks like. I mean, obviously, I think we'll get a good picture after Loki, particularly with more Kang, I guess. But even so, because we'll see if Doctor Doom shows up and Black Panther has been rumored. Who knows? But those are the two this year that I think guaranteed have a direct relation to what's going to be happening the year after or 2 years after that, right? It's those two. It's Quantumania and Loki.
And you know for a fact Wong is going to be major as well because Wong's been in everything. Phase 4 really has been the Wong
constant, right? Because he's in She-Hulk too.
That dude is. I was like, Wong is like for Phase 4. Wong is to Phase 4 when Nick Fury was to Phase 1. He unites everybody.
I don't know. I like Wong. He's good. I like Wong. Yeah.
I like Wong a lot too.
I don't know if he's that guy per se, but I do like him. But it's curious. Yeah, you're right. He's in everything. He's like just pop him here, pop him there, whatever. Give his own movie, for Christ's sake. No respect, dude. Give his own movie. I mean, come on.
Phase 4, it's Wong. Phase 5, it's Charlie Cox. Like that's it. Like he's the guy who's gonna connect everything because he got She-Hulk, he's got his own series, you got Echo, you got Spider-Man freshman year. I mean, Phase 5 is the Marvel Cox universe.
for better or for bad, I guess. 18 episodes. What a joke.
For awesome. It's for awesome.
But yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. I mean, yeah, I'm so curious. D23 is gonna tell us a lot too. Obviously, I just don't know what they're gonna tell us for those last two. I'm gonna try to dig deep here. Do a little digging. It's just at least 3 more movies again. Well, it should be 2 or 3. I think 3. But yeah, I mean, the cast of Fantastic Four great. I think John Krasinski is gonna be. I mean, I got that feeling he's gonna be.
You think so?
He was funny because he was on not the Tonight Show last night. Is it Jimmy Fallon? I forget who does it nowadays. But either way, yeah, came on Fallon asking about that, right? And he's like, no, he's not saying no or yes, which is odd, right? Usually, we see people go one way or another, right? Most of the times, no, we know the line, but he stayed very neutral, which is an odd response. And he kept pushing on whatever his wife, Emily Blunt, he's the same thing, and then he started talking about on a different down later in the conversation. He asked him something else. He's like, yeah, well, that's why I'm really glad I did Fantastic Four. And then he kind of just moved on. It was really weird he mentioned that. It could have been a Freudian slip. but he did kind of drop that.
Right.
It was so I don't know. It's weird. It's just okay. It's on the mind, right? Sometimes he let that slip. Like, is he really? Maybe he just whoops. And he did kind of glossed over, like,
Okay,
oh,
so-
just continue on like nothing happened. He didn't say, oh, I'm sorry, I meant to say.
Speaking of
I don't know. It's weird.
glossing over, there was a thing that people freaked out a few weeks ago about Howard Stern talking about being in the Doom movie. So here's what I'm thinking, and you just made me think about this in a conversation. What if one of the movies that they release after Fantastic Four is a Doctor Doom movie? And the Doctor Doom movie, because it's Doctor Doom, leads into also multiverse issues as well.
That would make sense.
So then you have Fantastic Four,
that would make
Doctor
sense.
Doom, and then the Deadpool movie
It's kind
in between the two Avengers.
Because it kind of it takes away surprise of what's going to happen to him at the end of Fantastic Four. Honestly, I mean.
Well, I mean,
I know.
It's Doctor Doom.
Like,
Doctor Doom is going to be one of those hang-around villains. He's not going to be one of those like,
maybe because
like that dude's going to be there for a while.
For the most part, has been Thanos, right? Everyone else is whatever, right? Loki they made good, so they did take away that villain per se.
Yes, Mordo's still around.
I mean, he wasn't a villain in the movie. On that, just the end credit scenes, right? So,
right, he wasn't a villain in the movie, right?
He's only just one, so just like I said, I hope he continues. I think he's a great character, and it'd be good to see him down the road. But like I said, that would if they have Doctor Doom, then for sure we know he's the Secret Wars catalyst, if you will, guaranteed, obviously.
Right.
So again, that's interesting there. So I'm hoping it's great. I think it's going to be really good. I just know it won't be as good as what we've seen, and that's kind of disappointing because you want him kind of continue to escalate. And his Phase 4 was just weird. It's just been weird. I'm sorry, it has been. And Phase 5 doesn't look
once again, I
that's
think
weird. Just the choices that we're gonna get. It's almost too much stuff. It's like they can space this out, pace themselves. We're getting like 50,000 things, and it's becoming like it's no longer special anymore. It's like okay, another whatever, sure.
Well, here's what I think. This is what I was thinking about this. We talked about Phase 4, 5, 6, the multi-saga. A little rushed. Why would they rush? And I think it's because Feige re-upped his contract for 10 years because now he has access to the X-Men, which is his pride and joy. It's the thing he's always wanted, right? So I think he actually cut the multiverse saga short to get to the X-Men before he quits.
Before he's like, let's get to the love.
Yeah, just get. Or I mean, there was a little
very
bit
awkward foreplay.
But there wasn't like,
let's go.
Yeah, it's like foreplay in high school. So, let's get going.
Did they really enjoy it?
And I think it's just because he wants to squeeze the last 6 years to make X-Men. Like he wants that to be the thing.
You're right. It just seems so. It should be much longer. I don't know. It's weird. Like I said, it's just been an awkward phase, and I hope if it ends well, fine. We won't give a shit at the end of the day, but it's just kind of weird, But let's see about X-Men. X-Men's gonna be obviously. I think. I'm leaning toward they're not gonna say anything X-Men till after. We'll get that announcement in a year or two. That's going to take place in Phase 7. Whatever, the mutants, whatever this has.
Right.
They keep saying mutants, whatever. I don't think they're going to call them X-Men, quote unquote, but whatever. I think that's going to be the next part of this, whatever. I'm hoping, I would love it to just Secret Wars wipes everything out. We're starting fresh and they start with X-Men, which is what I want. X-Men, if they're going to do X-Men, like I told you, do it as their own thing. That would be a good way to introduce them, still keep the themes and the spirit of the X-Men life, and then after that, introduce all this other stuff they can do later. I'm okay with that. I could see that. I would like to see that. Again, I'm not sure how the Secret Wars end. I don't know, whatever, how they're going to end it, but you think people are going to get whacked?
I think a lot of people are going to get whacked. I think a lot of people are going to get rebooted.
So who gets whacked?
I think, but I think the people are going to get whacked are people that they don't have any access to. Like everyone says, Tobey Maguire and Andrew are going to come back for Spider-Man. They get whacked.
About, like current,
I think that
Marvel characters, what we expect to see, like Shang-Chi's and Thor's, Miss Marvel, whatever, Captain Marvel, like those characters. Captain America.
Jeremy Renner will officially die. Jeremy Renner will officially die.
But I'm saying, is that you think anybody like who, we know obviously. At least they killed off Black Widow, killed off Iron Man, but
I think Wong might die.
Okay, that could be a major thing. I could see that. Okay.
I think Wong might die.
Taking
Um,
supreme
I could
title back.
see. I could see who else can I see dying. Uh, I could see a lot of the characters who end up on the
Eh,
Thunderbolts dying too. I think a lot of
guess.
them get
I
wiped
guess.
out. Um,
Not a big thing, but sure. Moon Knight probably.
let's see.
Just kidding.
That's the thing. He always comes
Yeah.
back.
I
That's
would love the reaction if
he'll
he
die.
doesn't die
He'll
and they
come
don't bring
back.
him back anymore. You'll be like, this is nonsense. This is some bullshit.
What?
That's
right. That's right.
You burn all that.
Burn it all
you're
down.
out. You're done.
It's burnt. Nick Fury will die.
I guess. Yeah.
I think Nick Fury will die.
But
I
the
don't
thing,
know
it's
if
hard
Maria
to make,
Hill will
again,
die.
When Black Widow and Iron Man died, right, there was so much behind it because we had seen them for so long, right, in so many movies, and now it's like, okay, we saw Shang-Chi one. If we see him again, he dies, it won't hold the same weight. That's what I'm saying. Maybe someone like Wong, who's popping up everywhere.
See, I think certain people will die, but they'll get rebooted. Like I could see them rebooting the Hulk,
well,
them
the Hulk
rebooting
needs to get redone.
Iron Man. And
the Hulk needs to get rebooted. The Hulk.
I think the Hulk's going to get rebooted. I think Captain America.
Hulk's a waste of time now. He's a waste of time.
Steve Rogers specifically will get rebooted.
Well, yeah,
I see Iron Man getting rebooted.
Though. Like, you can't have two.
Oh no, because that's a great question because I have the answer for that too. In the comics, when Anthony Mackie was Captain America, Steve Rogers was the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. So he was the super soldier. That's what he called him, the super soldier. And then Anthony Mackie's Captain America. And the super soldier led S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's how you do Steve Rogers. He's now rebooted and he's the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. because you kill Nick Fury.
That doesn't, yeah.
So that's how you keep
the S.H.I.E.L.D. still stays with Mackie.
No, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, the costume that he was wearing in Winter Soldier, that blue with the silver star, that's the suit he wears when he was commanding S.H.I.E.L.D. So you give him that costume or a variation of that costume
God forbid,
to be back in
white Steve Rogers takes the S.H.I.E.L.D. from Black Anthony Mackie. It'll be all kinds of hell to pay. I'm telling you, it would be an outrage. Oh my God, it'd be a disaster. I don't want to hear it.
Here's what I would do. When Anthony Mackie gets hurt and Bucky assumes the Captain America mantle, which happens in comics anyway, and then Bucky ends up being killed, and then he passes the shield back onto the new Steve Rogers, and so it just goes full circle. That's how you do it. So Mackie gives it to, and in the comics right now, Steve Rogers and Sam are in America. There's two Captain America titles right now. One is called Sentinel of Liberty. One is called something of Freedom. But that's the two things you would do.
Latino in this Esteban Rodriguez as you know, the new Steve Rogers. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Let's get a little more color. That's all I'm saying. Can we put a little more color in there? Just, if you're gonna reboot,
Namor is practically Mexican.
He is, but I got a feeling he might get whacked at the end of this movie too. We're talking about villains that don't last.
I don't think he's gonna whack. I don't think they're gonna whack him.
That's all I'm saying.
I think he's gonna be part of moving forward. I think he's gonna be part of the moving forward.
Goes, but I'm saying, just by historically speaking, with Marvel killing villains, he could be axed. I mean, I don't know.
Because Atuma is actually more of a classic Atlantean villain than Namor. And Atuma, so you have someone to die. You kill Atuma, and you have Namor move on.
Let's see, man. Don't do it to us. Don't boys us here and kill all Latino characters. Give us something to last. That's what I'm saying, dude. Just saying. There's no Homelander here to ruin the show. But that being said, so yeah, listen, look, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be an interesting couple of years, and I really can't wait for D23. I'm itching to know what's the boom here. We need to get like a boom mic drop situation, and listen, if it just be Deadpool with Hugh Jackman, I'm okay with that. You know what? That's a boom.
Oh,
there you go.
Hello.
Come on, that's genius.
And if Hugh Jackman comes back for Deadpool, then you know he's going to show up in Secret Wars.
I don't know if
so that's a double goal.
Because he's such good friends with Ryan Reynolds. The Twitter battles
I think if he does Deadpool, he'll also do Secret Wars. You could not do Secret Wars without bringing in Hugh Jackman. It's rumors of bringing back like Ben Affleck as a Daredevil to be opposite Charlie Cox. You do that shit, man. You do it. You do it. You do it. You do it.
Let's not
you do it.
You do it. I'm about to talk about the third world country Kingpin than that Daredevil version.
No, you still keep the same Kingpin.
He lost the Kingpin and got some other idiot with a Hawaiian shirt on, so who cares about him? Fucking Hawaiian shirts, so stupid. But that being said, I'm gonna end on a bad note for Christ's sake. We're doing good with Esteban Rodriguez leading the charge in Captain America. Let's end it there.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of San Diego Comic-Con 2022 right here on Nerdsplaining. Thank you so much for all your follows. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the show. The more follows you get, the better we do. We appreciate all that. Don't forget to follow us on social media at NerdsplainingPod on Instagram and at Nerdsplaining_ on Twitter. Don't forget, if you want to see you want to hear all the original audio episodes, you can go to ericdasilva.com. While you're there, don't forget to pick up my album, Adorably Offensive. Always a fun time for everyone who likes funny stuff in an inappropriate way that's still likable for friends and family and a little bit of your enemies. It's all good there. Guys, minor offensive. If you like this show, don't forget to follow the YouTube channel this is on, the Latin Nerd Network, where we have shows like Nerdsplaining or The Watch List, where Jose and Julie talk about all the shows that are coming of the week and what should be on your watch list. We have more shows coming up. Like right now, we also have Thanos' Choice, and we have more shows coming up. Trust me, I know we keep promising. Just there's a bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes, but we are working on it. I promise you more stuff will be going there as well. And of course, don't forget to hit us up on social media. Let us know what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about the show, questions you want us to ask. It'll be all there for you. We love hearing about you, so please contact us there as well. Guys, as always, I have been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Boom.